The last place I wanted to be was Frostnipistan.
This One's Wife. Regroup all you like, losers. Hello, I'm HG Tudor. Well, 2025 is in its final act as we are in the final month of the year. But cast your minds back to January and you'll remember that This One's Wife kicked off 2025 with that ridiculous Instagram video of her running around like some methed up crab on a Monte Shitshow beach to write 2025 repeatedly in the sand. It was pretentious, it was desperate, it amassed more dislikes than likes, but she was basically suggesting that 2025 was going to be her year. Well, let's take a quick run through some of the things that have happened for her in 2025. This isn't exhaustive, there are other things that have occurred. But for instance, she experienced the backlash to her trailer for With Love Meghan in January. It had a 1.5 out of 5 rating. It was described as tone deaf and amateurish. It forced a delay in the premiere amid poor reception, which was blamed on the wildfires. More about that in a moment. And it earned 17,000 likes against 170,000 dislikes. Then we had the disaster tourism during the LA wildfires, whereby her and the Prince of Pink Pancakes were wildly panned. Actress Justine Bateman labelled them disaster tourists, and many people repeatedly accused them of exploiting tragedy for PR. Vanity Fair did an expose on bullying and ineffectiveness in a scathing 8,000-word cover story, which branded the Sussexes as American hustlers, detailing This One's Wife's alleged bullying of staff. Strained marriage rumours arose from their business woes that was highlighted in February. And at this juncture, American Riviera Orchard was dead, later to be resurrected as ever, as she was forced through a leak to announce as ever whilst having a wild wee in her garden. There was the brand delay in relation to As Ever. It was postponed, and there were claims of misrepresentation with regard to selling out. The With Love Meghan premiere flopped in March. It ranked 389 in Netflix's first half viewership and very much missed the top 10. It was slammed for cringe moments such as This One's Wife correcting Mindy Kaling on her name, I'm Sussex now. There was the Time 100 Summit Ridiculous talk in April. There were the various cooking mishaps that were identified in With Love Meghan, which has resulted in her now being known as Salmonella Sussex. There's the influencer jam backlash, which has drawn tragic reviews. There was the outfit and fashion week flops, which occurred repeatedly through April to October. Wardrobe choices of hers have bombed. Baggy tan suits at Time 100. A 230,000 Netflix ensemble deemed wasteful. The Balenciaga mishap at Paris Fashion Week, where her exaggerated laugh at a model's fall went viral as tone deaf. There's been diva meltdowns over her PR flopping. The borrowed dress stealing scandal that has popped up just recently. The Thanksgiving photo op backlash with the staged Our Big Kitchen visit. As ever website traffic has dipped. The Harper's Bazaar cover has resulted in much hilarity, particularly with regard to her insisting on being announced as the Duchess of Sussex, even in small instances. That Netflix has had her as an expensive failure. There's been all of the controversy surrounding Centre Barley and the disagreements there. And more besides. The wine hasn't taken off. Sales are not as good as she has maintained. She undertook the ridiculous interview for Bloomberg, etc., etc. You can find plenty of examples of how rubbish this year has been. 2025 was meant to be the year of This One's Wife, another rebrand, another reset, and now apparently, according to Globe, This One's Wife and Prince Harry are more isolated and unpopular than ever, reflecting on what's been their worst year. Sources say how the royal renegades are struggling to stay on track as they lurched from one crisis to the next. They had such big plans for 2025 and really believed it was their breakthrough period. Instead, it's turned into the year from hell, an insider remarks. As readers know, former A-list pals in America and Harry's hoity-toity friends in England have jettisoned the prickly pair, finding their self-obsessed and delusional tendencies too much to bear. Sources say that the pair are still reeling from a brutal staff revolt that's seen many employees walk away from their insufferable bosses who are at pains to deny allegations that they're impossible to work for. They've rapidly become persona non grata amongst the Tinseltown elite who don't want the backlash of associating with them or their toxic brand. There's no appetite left for them in LA, but also they've worn through any goodwill that they've had, an insider told Page 6. Another source announced people are sick of them. The act has gotten stale. Nevertheless, apparently, the fact is that they've got very few friends, that staff have walked out in droves. Prince William is still baying for their blood, and the paycheck possibilities are thin and reduced. Apparently, Harry and this one's wife are regrouping and planning to go again. But it is all quite desperate and depressing, especially as they're clashing and bickering a lot these days. It really has been a year from hell in so many respects. It's left them emotionally frayed and wondering if they're ever going to catch a break. And if that is accurate, it shows again the level of delusion. We're regrouping again. So often people wonder, why is it that she doesn't see it? And she doesn't see it because the narcissism won't allow her to. She has a particular perspective, the narcissistic perspective, which allows her to see that something has failed, but it's never her fault. It's always somebody or something else's fault. And that's what happens. And therefore, she thinks, well, it didn't work because the moon was in the wrong phase, or it's the racist British press, or Harry didn't do his chakras appropriately. That's why it failed. Or Harry was banging on about rubbing Elizabeth Arden cream into his todger, and that set people against us. It's not me. I'm brilliant, talented, likeable and relatable. And thus the narcissism keeps telling her that. And this is why, after that litany of failures that I went through, and there's more besides, as you know, it's still reported that they plan to regroup and go again, which encapsulates the delusion of this one's wife. Furthermore, if it's accurate to state that they've been wondering if they're ever going to catch a break, that again demonstrates delusion. It's got nothing to do with catching a break. They've been given break after break after break. Two untalented individuals, one particularly unlikable, one somewhat unlikable, her lacking charisma, deluded. They've been given chance after chance by so many organisations and outlets, and they've kept fucking it up. I don't need to tell you why they keep fucking it up. I've told you many times. And it's hilarious to find that you have this long list of failures, and then the Sussexes whining about wanting to catch a break and saying that they're going to regroup. Well, the fact is that if such news percolates through to the conch-like ears of the elegant and graceful Princess of Wales and Prince William, they will simply think to themselves, as they stand there at the state banquet, looking regal and resplendent in Germany, you can regroup all you like. Losers. For all of the attempts of this one's wife to upstage them with her shitty holiday special, with Harry's attempts to upstage by going to Canada and then New York, it just once again underpins what a pair of losers they are. All you need to do is look at the picture in the thumbnail and it tells you everything that you need to know. Worlds apart. The Sussexes are simply losers. I'm HG Tudor. Thank you for listening.